News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. We are continuing with our discussion about Hunter Biden. Then we're going to get into the Texas rolling blackouts in a sec. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227 on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3. Let's go right before we get to the Texas rolling blackouts possible this summer. I'll take Steve's call in Irving talking about Hunter Biden. I think he's going to be found innocent, and I think it's going to redound to Trump's benefit. Which way would you rule, and which way do you think the jury's going to rule? And what kind of a punishment would you like to see if Hunter is convicted, which I don't know many people would think he will be. Even though you know what's really pathetic and angering is that there's just like nobody thinks the guy is innocent because there's no question. It's obvious. And I think that's why it's going to be more profound, the fact that he gets off. I think it's going to be unbelievable. But basically, it's going to be what's going to happen here, I think, is I'm really looking at this. And nobody knows how this is going to all play out, but I want to tell you this. What I think is going to happen is this. I think Joe's going to get everything he wants, Biden. He's going to get Trump convicted, maybe in jail, and his son is going to be found innocent. And everything that he wants, he's going to end up wishing he didn't want or ask for. Got it? It's all going to hurt his chances and bury him. That's my prediction, but I could be wrong. I could be totally wrong. But that's my feelings as of right now. Steve in Irving, you've called in at 800-288-WBAP. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello, Steve.
Yes, sir. Yeah, good to talk to you again. I don't think that they're going to find Hunter Biden guilty, and I'm basing that off this one observation.
Okay.
And that one observation is his father, Joe Biden, when asked if he would pardon Hunter, said, no, he would not. Well, of course you wouldn't, because he's not going to be convicted. You can't pardon someone who's not convicted.
Can I tell you what? I think he knows that he will pardon him if he's convicted, and if Joe is reelected, God forbid, he would pardon him after he wins reelection. And if he is found innocent, then there's nothing to pardon him for. But I think he would pardon him, and if he was reelected, it'd be after he's reelected, and if he's not reelected, it'll be whenever he needs to after that. Before, I think he would do it either way. Do you agree? Even though he said he wouldn't.
Well, no, I'm going to stick with my assumption there, because there's a reason why Joe Biden and Joe Biden has made their presence in the court there, and it's an intimidation factor, and I think they've already got it locked up, and they know it. That's why, you can't convict. I mean, you can't pardon someone who has not been convicted of a crime. He'll be, he won't be proven innocent. He'll just be proven not guilty.
Well, I appreciate your call, my friend. Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, man. All right, so let's get into this. Texas rolling blackouts. ERCOT says, you're not going to believe, there's a chance of blackouts in August. They're already announcing there's a chance in blackouts in August. That's how bad and how far gone our grid is. And I've explained this to you. Let me give you the full details on this first. According to ERCOT's latest report, this is from WFA TV Channel 8's sister station in Houston, KHU. And it broke, as far as I can tell, literally. This was not on the radar this afternoon when I was looking at WFA's website at all. So this came out probably between 4 and 7 o'clock, or somewhere in that area. According to ERCOT's latest report, Texas faces an estimated 12% chance of controlled outages in August. We are California. I mean, there's just no other way to say it. The grid operator says this could be on nights when there is low wind power production in the early evening. What? You're saying that everything I've told you about the green energy garbage is right? You're saying that the reason why we might have to do rolling blackouts is because there will be nights when the wind there is low wind power production in the early evening? You're saying that we are literally beholden to the freaking wind? You're saying that when Trump said when he was running for re-election, honey, I'm sorry, I can't turn the TV on. What do you mean? Because there's no wind. Blow the windmill. You're telling me that Trump was actually right? What? You're telling me that we are just like California? How could this happen? Let me tell you. But first, a few more tidbits and then our number for your reaction at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. Well, I'll just throw it out right now. Questions for you. Do you want more nuclear and natural gas for our power, our grid in Texas? I do. If you look at there's a chart from Wall Street Journal that I've tweeted out like 50 million times. I've had it pinned to the top for months at a time, and it shows the day of the near grid collapse we had during the snowpocalypse, icepocalypse day. Okay, and it shows that on that day, solar was at zero practically, and wind was at zero. They pretty much were both at zero. Okay, and it showed that nuclear was the same. It always stays the same. Now, nuclear actually lost some because I think some of the pipes froze up a little bit. But other than that, nuclear never goes up, down, or turn around. Okay, so the insulating those pipes and such would take care of that. Is my understanding on nuclear. Otherwise, it would have been fine. Unfortunately, nuclear cannot crank it up. It can't turn it to 11. However, natural gas was the hero. Natural gas saved us from collapse. Unequivocally, fossil fuels saved us from collapse. Period. Natural gas performed like 5 to 10 times or more higher than it normally does. They literally just went and kept turning up to 11. And you cannot do that with wind and solar. We have outsourced, let me rephrase that. Our grid has been bastardized by federal subsidies over a period of 20 to 30 years. This and the not corrupt, but the culpable people in this are all Texas governors. It started with George W. Bush before he was president. It continued with Rick Perry, and it continues on right now with Governor Greg Abbott. All of them have allowed, and here's how it's bastardized. You're like, well, how's the grid bastardized, Chris? Well, here's how. It is manipulated artificially by federal subsidies for green energies. And so energy companies do not care if they build a green energy plant or a fossil fuel energy plant. They just want to make money. They're energy companies, right? That's all. And so it is more lucrative to build a wind or solar plant with federal subsidies than it would be to just build a natural gas plant or coal plant. I presume nuclear is the same. So my question for you is, do you want more nuclear and natural gas for our grid, as I do, including subsidization of that to counter-effect the government's bastardization of our grid by incentivizing the wind and solar? And would you turn down the power usage if it meant, if ERCOT asks this summer? If we're looking at rolling blackouts in August, and they're already announcing this in June. Isn't this alarming to you? We're now getting alerts 2 months in advance. ERCOT's letting you know you might be having forced power outages in August. Will you turn down your power if ERCOT asks you to? Which they're literally already asking you to turn your power down in August today. Hey, just so you know, bend over. We'll see you in August. And our electric bills have gone up to pay for the grid being patched up and such. But basically, that's all it is. We need to subsidize gas and nuclear. I'm on board with that. Are you? 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. And come and take it. You will not touch my power. I just re-signed with a new power company, and I could have gotten a better deal if I said, yes, you can control my thermostat. Let me tell you something. Look at your energy bill or your energy contract. If you go, why does my power keep going? Why does it keep getting warmer in here when I keep turning it down? It keeps going up. Because you signed and got a cheaper deal and you didn't read it. That's your fault. I read it. I figured it out. I know. Don't get that deal if you don't want a company molesting, to say it, meddling with your, those meddling kids, meddling with your thermostat. Do you have a smart thermostat? Would you allow us to gently lower the power to be on ERCOT's team so we can make this green stuff work and you can suffer? Not my household. Come and take it. Absolutely not. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Also coming up next, DISD is considering community service parenting classes instead of alternative school. Did you ever get threatened to get sent to alternative school? Did you ever get sent to an alternative school? How about your kids? Oh, that's coming up next. I sure did. Yeah, I'm the only one here. Rubber arrest. That's next. Kevin in North Richland Hills has called in. We'll pop you on in one sec, Kevin, at 800-288-WBAP, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. Texas rolling back blackouts, says WFA TV Channel 8 sister station KU. ERCOT says there's a chance in August. Yay! Wow! ERCOT's so good. They're 2 months early on their predictions of rolling blackouts. Wow! I bet you the rest of the country wishes they had our grid. This is what happens when 33% of your grid is supplied by green energy, because the federal government has bastardized the grid to incentivize people getting green energy plants, companies making green energy plants instead of just fossil fuel plants and nuclear plants. Kevin in North Richland Hills, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Are you going to be turning down the power? And do you want more of this green energy garbage or what?
No. Yeah, I'm all for nuclear and natural gas.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we do have solar panels on our house.
I'm sorry.
No, hold on. There's a reason for that.
Actually, you can do whatever you want as long as it's legal. I'm not going to hear. Just pick it on you. I'm just picking on you.
No, we didn't buy the batteries. They're $12,500.
Oh, that's it? But you can save a couple $100 on your energy bill. That's great. Go ahead. Just kidding. Sorry.
Hold on. The batteries are. Now, the solar panels on your house and all the connections that they do will cost you about $52,000. Okay?
Brand new or?
Brand new. And that's a 25-year life.
And by the way, that's not including the installation and the cost of the materials.
No. That was everything.
Okay, how much was everything? I'm sorry. And I'm not trying to be, I'm just having fun with you. I'm not being rude. Hopefully you don't think I am.
No.
Okay, go ahead. So tell me how much was the original cost, and then go ahead with the rest of your spiel, because it's pretty crazy. Go ahead, sir.
$52,000. You do pay monthly over a 25-year span. Now, the thing is our electric bill last month was $0. Now,
how much was your? Let me ask you a question. How much was your solar panel bill, though?
$152.
Okay, for how many years?
25.
That's a long way to catch up.
I know, but there's another reason why we did that is because of the grid. Okay.
So that you don't have to be relying on the grid.
Yes. No, we don't. I have a background in electronics engineering.
Ooh.
And one of my professors at UNT.
By the way, what the heck am I going to tell you about this kind of things? You could in your sleep. You could do laps around me on your hands. Go ahead, sir.
No.
Go ahead.
But one of my professors at UNT, Dr. McNeil, was a resident nuclear engineer at Comanche Peak.
Wow. Okay.
And he was all for the nuclear engineering. Now, this guy was ex-Vietnam vet. I mean, very smart guy, but down to earth. Mm-hmm. To the point where we had 5 people in our senior class, and he would go through these proofs, and he said, does anybody have any questions? No one answered, raised their hand. He said, does anybody have any questions that they don't know how to ask?
There you go.
Every hand went up. And so we weren't the smart tax in the class. But the reason why we did decide to do this is because if the grid takes a dump, okay, and we didn't go with the Tesla, okay, and we went there's another one that runs head-to-head with Tesla. It's called Enphase, and that's worldwide.
For the solar panels.
And yes.
They're made in China, right? And the rare earth minerals come from China or Chinese mines in Africa with African slaves, right? That's what we understand to be true with all the minerals.
That is correct. Okay.
Did the slave come with the solar panel?
No, it did not.
I mean, I'm not. Producer Gary was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" No, I'm not saying that I endorse any of this. I'm being truthful. So, I mean, might as well ask. I mean, and I'm not trying to be mean to you. I'm not saying it's you. I'm saying the whole concept is it's slavery. So I'm not trying to guilt you. I'm just trying to say, just having some fun with something that really is serious. Go ahead, sir.
Okay. So the thing is I've talked to their engineers out in California, and I said, now, are these EMP proof? That is right.
Oh yeah. Electromagnetic pulse. Yep.
And they said no. And a friend of mine that's a doctor, I installed one of those on his car. Mm-hmm. And I said, are you working? I was talking to the engineers. I said, are you working on this? We're in work. I said, I wanted to say, get off your rear end.
Yeah.
Get this started.
All right.
So anyway.
I got to roll, but the reason I said something about the slave couple is because it's a sick, disgusting thing. I condemn it, obviously, but it's just so pathetic. I cannot believe that people keep, and I'm not trying to shame you or guilt you, but that people keep getting this stuff, knowing that it's that slaves are doing it, harvesting it in Africa. It's unbelievable. It's actual modern day slavery. I got to roll, Kevin, but thank you for your call. I appreciate you. But we had on Siddharth Kartha, the Harvard University professor who wrote the book Cobalt Red. He was on Joe Rogan's show. I caught it, and I had him on after that. He came on for a half hour with me, and he has video when we play the audio of it of African slaves on Chinese mines that are being just ripped up from the African land. And the woman says, I send my 9-year-old to work for $1 a day because it's either that or we don't eat. And he's handling rare earth minerals, cobalt, and he's going to get cancer, blood cancer, or other horrific things because people want their minerals for their, the solar panels, the tiles, the EVs, everything. So we should all be saying no to that instead of buying it. I'm not trying to be rude to him. It's just unbelievable. Okay, up next on the Chris Kroc Show, News Talk 820 WBAP, Dallas ISD considering community service parenting classes instead of alternative school. Leaders reimagine discipline. So, I can't wait to get into this. Did you ever get threatened to be sent to the alternative bad boy schools, or were you ever sent to one? I was threatened. All that next, and which is more effective to handling bad boys. Next. Okay, now this one is going to be a great discussion, in my opinion, because I think many of us have gone through something like this, or our kids, or we've seen people. In Dallas ISD, they are deciding to do this, what do you call it, restorative justice garbage, which is totally bass-backwards from how I was raised. And I hope that this is bass-backwards to you as well. Instead of giving kids a out-of-school suspension or sending them to the bad boy school for, the alternative school, they call it, right? They want to switch it to 6 hours of work for the student, which could be community service, tutoring, or a project tailored to a certain issue. Maybe you can go celebrate diversity, DEI stuff. I mean, I don't know, cut out some paper maches for DEI. I don't know, but I think in certain cases, community service is good, but I think in most of these cases, it is bad. I think what has always worked is what is good, and that is reasonable discipline. And I want to speak from personal experience, and they're going off on this and saying, well, we've taken a restorative approach as opposed to always penalizing our students. Well, if you should be penalized, then why are you not being penalized? I was penalized. We were all penalized. We got into trouble. Did it hurt us? Did you ever get penalized? Producer Garrett? Yes, a lot probably. I could tell. Yeah, you're one of those guys. Yes, when you're younger. Yes, like last week. How about you, my fellow colleague? Ever get penalized for anything? Dude, you were like a goody two shoes. You jerkity jerk. I hated you. Get out of here. Got that angelic praying hands together. Get out of here. You're fired. I'll penalize you now. You're fired. Get out of here. Get out of here. He's leaving. Okay. Let's do this. These aren't the kind of kids, the infractions that you need to exclude a student from school for, said one of these advocates. They want to get kids back on track, such as those who consistently skip class or are disrespectful to teachers in a disruptive way. Yeah, you want to get them back into the classroom so they can ruin the education for the rest. One of the things they don't mention in this whole 3-page article or 4-page article in the Dallas Morning News, they don't mention, what about the students who do care and are paying attention and they can't learn? Where are their rights? Why is it always the rights for the offender and not the offended? And you are offended if you're in the classroom, you're actually trying to learn. Some jerk's acting out or cussing out the teacher or doing worse. DISD took an approach a step further after the pandemic to eliminate nearly all suspensions, both in and out, and replace them with trips to reset centers. Reset centers! Oh, that's like a little camp over there. Here's some ho-hos and some Twinkies. Sit down, shut up, and sit in the corner and eat your ho-hos. Here's some internet. Just don't watch it. Don't even watch anything that's not allowed, any untoward things. All you is watching it. Oh, get it. Oh, come on. I was in a lot of trouble towards the end of my high school because it wasn't because I was. I'll explain later. I was threatened with alternative school, and it scared the living crap out of me, and it awakened me to say, this is not who I am. I am not that guy. I come from a great home. What is wrong with me? Why am I acting out? What am I doing so wrong? And they said, Chris, if you want to graduate a semester early, if you will graduate a semester early. It was my senior year. If you graduate at the end of the fall semester, I'm sorry. They said if you will leave this school at the end of the fall semester, we will allow you to graduate in the graduation ceremony at the end of your senior year. So everybody's fine. They might not notice you're here for that last semester, but you can. And I was like, I was hurt. I was offended. It was a punch in the gut. I'm sure I cried. I'm very sensitive, even though I got in a lot of trouble. And my mom, I always thought for like decades, I thought my mom didn't know. She told me she didn't know. And then now she tells me like the past 5 years ago or something, she's like, oh, yeah, I did know. I just wanted you to be surprised. What? See, what? What? So my mom and dad knew. They set me up. But wasn't that the right thing to do? To let them listen closely. Isn't love to release your hand from protection of them when they mess up? To allow the authorities to come in and deal with you? Because mom and dad haven't been able to do it, and they tried. That was me. I was doing things that were bad, but not that level of bad, but I was skirting it. Okay? And it worked for me. I'll explain my part deux of my life after that, but have you ever been threatened to be sent to the alternative bad boy school like me? Or were you ever sent to one? Which way do you think is more effective for bad boys or bad girls? Community service and parenting classes for the parents as they're proposing, or suspensions and expulsions and alternative school? Which would you rather have for your child? That's the $50 million question. Would you rather have your kid get threatened with expulsion and suspension or going to the bad boy school? Or restorative justice stuff. 800-288-WBAP is our number. 800-288-9227. Line's wide open for you. 800-288-9227. Chime in right now. I personally, as I mentioned, I was getting in trouble with teachers. They were, sometimes I would lash out at them because I felt like they were picking on me. But when I was disrupting, I was making jokes and laughing. I was trying to make people the class clown. So it wasn't that I was, some burnout or drug user or, fighting with people. I was not anything. I was a normal sized guy at best. So it wasn't that at all. So it just didn't fit in. And I like making jokes and being in the center of attention. And unfortunately, that gets you in a lot of trouble, including sometimes when I didn't even do anything wrong. They're like, and they blame me. And that's when I went. I lashed out at the teacher one time and I stormed out of class because he did that to me. And there was a group of people that could always, you don't remember, don't forget these things. Group of people that always got away with everything, especially the hot girls in the class. And the teacher's like, And then like one time something happens and he looks at me and blames me. And I'm like, it wasn't me. And then he kept going off on me. I'm like, how dare I went off on him, and I stormed out of the classroom, and I was hurt. I wasn't. I didn't go off and go smoke weed or tear out a lot or hit somebody. I went off and I kind of bawled. I walked off the campus because I was like really hurt. So play the violin for me. I had to get my butt handed to me, and my parents let my butt get handed to me. I think it was the best thing that could ever happen to me. How about you? And what do you think about these kids? Do you think restorative justice, projects are good for a kid instead of giving them the discipline that you and I got when we were kids? 800-288-9227. 800-288-9227. Now, what happens to that's 800-288-WBAP. What happens to those who are the more serious offenders? Assault, drug possession. What happens to them? I will tell you what the plan is for them. If it's to get massages or tickled with a feather and sent back into class, maybe look at some Rorschach tests and get a few, some Dairy Queen and then go back in there. I don't know. I do know, but we'll tell you that coming up next. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. News Talk 820 WBAP now on FM at 93.3. Make it a preset, y'all. 800-288-WBAP is our number, 800-288-9227. Dallas ISD considering restorative justice instead of kicking you out and sending you to the alternative school or suspension or out-of-school suspension. I think that we should keep those punishments in line. And they're afraid about the numbers of people based on race. I think it should be about you and what you did, and it shouldn't be about restorative justice garbage. Punishment is good. Punishment helps. Discipline means you love somebody when you discipline somebody, as long as it's done properly. It worked for me, so I'm not asking anybody to do anything that I didn't have happen to me, like faux real. They said, graduate early or you're out. And going to the alternative school, I'm like, gee, yeah, let me see how that one should go. No problem. I'm out. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Oh, it hurt like heck, but it was the best thing. I was in community college that spring semester already. I was like, dude, I can smoke here. It was high school with ashtrays. It was in the Poison Ivy League, I called it. We were community college. We called it University of Southern Palatine. It's a suburb of Chicago. Okay, David and Benbrook, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello.
Hey, how you doing, Chris?
Good, sir.
I was one of those smart-ass kids and kind of too smart for my own good.
You and me.
At that age.
Yep.
And got bullied a lot because, when you're that smart kid in class, that happens. And got some fights and got suspended, and I think rightly so. At the same time, I'd also, get bored. I was one of those kids, reading a book underneath the desk. And
wait a minute, you were a smart kid or a smart aleck kid or both?
Both.
Okay, got it. Go ahead. Yeah, that sounds about right for me. Yeah.
Yeah. So I was, I'd be reading a book underneath the desk when I was supposed to be paying attention. The teacher would catch me and try and catch me on a question, and I'd just pop off with the right answer. And they never liked that. And then eventually, one of these teachers, I eventually just got too much of a smart aleck, I guess, and they kicked me out of the class, like literally. And the school basically told me, if you're actually that smart, here's what we're going to do. You're going to take that class period in the library, and this is at a time when we didn't have online education like we do for colleges.
What year is this roughly?
94, I want to say.
That's me. Like I was a couple of years or before you, but yeah, go ahead.
So basically, they had me take the class that I was in high school through the UT Community College campus program by mail, where they would send me the lessons.
That's great.
I would go out, and I would sit in the library during class. So
the only thing is you still have to go to the school. That's what kind of
got my course credits.
The only thing that you got your dual credit.
I did get dual credit.
Dude,
for that,
that's incredible. So in the end, was it good?
I think it helped me, give me a leg up in college. But of course, if you went to college, you kind of probably dealt with the same things I did. And that is, if you were smart enough, or you didn't have to study in high school, and then you got to college, and all of a sudden, oh crap, I've got to study now.
Yeah, the only thing about your punishment versus mine was you had to stay in the school still. Mine was much better, dude. I appreciate your call, David. Thank you. Let's go to Robert in Royce City. You're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP. Hello, Robert.
Hey, thank you for taking my call tonight.
You're welcome.
I just got two things for you. So, being in public education system for over 20 years.
Ooh, okay.
These are two things I'm seeing. One, there is a healthy fear of authority is a good thing.
Right.
And we're not seeing that in our public school systems anymore. What we're seeing is kids feeling like they can do whatever they want, whenever they want, and however they want. So when they get out in the real world, my thing is, this is why kids are being shot, because when they get out in the real world, they think they can tell an officer to do whatever they want to do. They can go wherever they want, and it's not healthy. And so those kids have no respect for teachers, principals, custodians, and that transcends into the real world where they end up getting shot, hurt, put in jail. They think they can steal, and it's terrible, man. And you can see it on these kids when they're in elementary school, middle school, and already know, man, you're already going the wrong way because nobody can hold them accountable.
Are you still teaching? And I'm not asking for where you are either, because I don't want that to be.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How many years? About 20, 25, you said?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And so has it gotten progressively worse as the years have passed?
Oh, yeah, 100%. And the second thing I was going to go to is just this. There's an epidemic in our school systems, and it really falls under our SPED umbrella. And I'm not talking about students who are autistic or students in like the life skill classes. I'm talking about your general ed kid who's like has a 504 IEP. These are kids getting these BIPs, behavior intervention plans. I don't know how familiar you are with those, but basically it gives them a free ticket to do whatever they want for as long as they want until you finally check all the boxes, and you can finally make a move to either get them out of class or suspend them. And that's a problem because you're basically, some of these kids are loaded weapons. You're putting in class every day with students.
Suburban or city district?
City. And so they're basically beating the crap out of kids every single day, regular gen ed kids, and they have more rights than those gen ed kids because they're protected under SPED.
Is there any... Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying it's sad. It's sad to watch.
Is there any consideration in your school district for the rights of the students who are obedient and want to learn?
Well, that's the thing. It's hard because because what I'm specifically talking about is these, severe behavior kids that need a little healthy corporal punishment. But, when they're protected under SPED and they have BIPs, you got to follow those plans, or the teachers are the ones that end up getting in trouble if we don't follow it. And you got kids sitting in there who are being berated daily. But you know what? That teacher didn't do the 10 steps on that kid's BIP list. So guess what? That teacher's in trouble. Those students have to sit there and deal with it until that teacher goes through weeks and weeks of data gathering before they can make a move.
Their rights are being, I would like a class action lawsuit to stop this, because this is insanity. Those poor kids and you, the poor teachers. God bless you, my brother, and keep strong in what you do and keep teaching the kids right. Okay, bro?
Hey, I appreciate it.
Glad you're in that district. Thank you. Catherine in Fort Worth, you're on 820 AM and now 93.3 FM WBAP.
Yeah, this whole thing, and that man's right. I was an educator too, and he's right. But when I was an educator, when I first started, that's when you could punish a kid, and you could also teach school. Now it's just like all these people have been saying. The kids are running the show; they do what they want to, they and their parents. But having said all that, this system, do you call it restorative?
Yeah, that's what they call it. It's a lie. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lie. But it's the public school version of the Soros plan.
Yes.
I'm
sure it is.
Yes, in the northern liberal, the liberal city.
Oh, like the school? No, not even the northern ones, all of them. Austin. Yeah, it's the Soros program for Memphis, in the South too. Memphis, LA, here, yeah. Mm-hmm. Dallas County. Dallas County.
Philadelphia.
Our Dallas County prosecutor, yeah.
True. Let them go, Crusoe. But that's all it is. They just are trying to trickle it down into as far down as they can go where people...
Yes, granular. Yeah. You're great, Catherine. Thank you for that great... I didn't even think of that, but that is exactly the same Soros thing. Don't put them in jail. Don't punish them. Let them go free, and go after people that are people like Donald Trump, or the lady with the hairdresser thing. I can't remember her name now, but in Dallas County. Okay, coming up next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP, now on FM at 93.3. We teased this one for 10 o'clock tonight. A whistleblowing doctor at Texas Children's Hospital is now being charged with felonies by the Biden Justice Department for being a whistleblower and speaking the truth on things that I bet you would agree with tremendously. Next on the Chris Crock Show on News Talk 820 WBAP and now on FM at 93.3.